Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. I'm going to be covering Uranus and Gemini for Sagittarius risings. If you have Sun and Moon in Sagittarius, you can also listen. It'll probably just apply to your overall life, business and ventures. And if it's the Moon, then just how you feel overall. Okay, so first and foremost, let's just talk about Sagittarius. It's important to really understand how this sign is affecting you, especially because you roll on luck, and it's not as if that's going away, but it is going to present itself differently. So, depending on where you have Jupiter in your chart, that's also important to keep in mind, but Jupiter is sitting in your rising, right? That's the metaphorical way of looking at it. In this current time, the only things that we really care about are Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. And currently, with you, you're being benefited by Jupiter ruling your first house, but Jupiter itself being in the 8th house right now in Cancer. Where is your moon? It's a really important thing to consider, because Uranus is sitting and it's going to oppose you. So when we look at the idea of Jupiter, it is Santa Claus, it's Noel, it's the ever-giving person. But sometimes when you have Sagittarius placements, you can give and give till you don't have any for yourself. And as the rising, life is nothing short of an adventure, one of which is always sparked by curiosity and or the lens of trauma, a desire for perfectionism, and or the desire to be seen for what it is that you can do. A relentless quest to be the hardest worker, but really just so that people can't tell you that you got things by luck. So Jupiter makes it so your whole chart is very, very hardworking, but at the same time, very much about growth, abundance. I think that it's awesome that Jupiter is right in between Saturn and Mars in the sense of Capricorn and Scorpio, because this is nothing but long term versus what you guys can be, which is short term, like the energy of Sagittarius. As Uranus steps into your 7th house, your main energy, especially as Uranus sextiles this in 2026, but even just now, it has been so much about growing through all the different people that are popping up in your life, all the experiences that you've encountered. There is a Jupiter video on its own, but I wanted to give you a short rundown because Jupiter and how it affects your chart in of itself. And that's what I feel called to do right now. If we actually now pivot to Uranus and its whole theme for you, it has been shaking you up since 2017. When I look at how Uranus is sitting in Taurus in this chart, and it was here, it kind of squared the 9th, it squared the 3rd and the 12th. It's been a dark time. It's been like there's no way that you come out of this the same person, right? There is no leaving Uranus and Taurus in the 6th the same person, because of the fact that Saturn, Aquarius, or you could say Uranus in of itself, and then the Sun, and then also Mars are all masculine here, and they're being moved by the disposition of Venus being unhappy. Meaning things happened that caused you to destabilize, but it was for the benefit of you because you had to take action. And since this was a theme from 2017 till now, and in this theme around 2021, 2022, we had the nodes kind of being in, in Taurus and Scorpio. And when that happened, that further exacerbated at a peak, probably around a conjunction of the nodes with that. Uranus has been doing its biggest job in Taurus to make you realize that things could come differently, right? Good time to probably propel yourself into fame by speaking out about people that don't get seen. As Pluto is sitting here and Uranus is now going to trine the new Uranus in Gemini, that is going to hyper accelerate your desire to grow and learn. And this is where, the individual chart is affected differently. So however that touches you, obviously. I'm not saying schedule a reading with me only, but definitely schedule a reading with an astrologer so that way you can understand, because your own chart will exacerbate this. For instance, if you're someone that has predominant Leo placements, this Uranus will sextile that, and it's going to give you such a drive and passion to not just go back to school, but it's really to learn on the biggest possible stage to affect the people that need it. That's how Pluto would piggyback this and create this sort of weird looking triangle, isosceles triangle or some shit. I don't know. Where else? What is the other thing you want to look at? Your own Mercury and how that will be affected because Uranus and Gemini, but obviously the 7th house of long-term relationships, contracts. With Uranus stepping into this, it disrupts that. Does it mean you're going to get a divorce? Does it mean you're going to break up? Does it mean that you're going to lose your contracts with stuff? Not necessarily. I think it's more so a warning sign of what it is that you've been doing and whether or not it aligns with who you are mentally. When Uranus was in Taurus, it was to get you to act. And now Uranus in Gemini, it's to get you to think and ponder, because you can't just do one thing at a time. And I think you guys are good for it. Genuinely speaking, having a 10th house in Sag, you're really good on your feet. So during this period of time, the biggest thing you can do for yourself is open your arms to the unknown. The unknown is not necessarily bad, but it is something that is more than just being quick on your feet. It's truly just sitting there and not doing something. It's sitting there and staying poised, because I look at this as someone that has a lump sum of cash and you're just waiting for the right opportunity to come into you, because now your first house is activated. And what is that? That's Jupiter. That's why I start off by saying you guys, being Jupiterian, have to realize how this is going to get activated. When Jupiter goes through these next 4 houses, all the way up to Libra is when I would kind of cap it off. It's opportunities, endless opportunities. Right now, the first one could be giving you back the finances that you need from something that hurt you, maybe literally physically, and getting your reciprocity for it, especially with Pluto leaving your 2nd house. I know you guys were really living in a life of capitalism with that. But when Jupiter goes there, now you can speak out for those people. And I think that you'll be able to live a delusional fantasy that other people will not be able to make sense of as Jupiter enters Virgo, right? But the only way to capitalize on an opportunity is to have, in my opinion, the gunpowder. You have to have the capital. You have to have the resources available. So as Uranus is like tippy-toeing itself into your 7th, you should be working on what it does really well in a Sagittarius rising's house is exacerbate the connections. Be as diplomatic as you can be from a sense of connections. And with you guys having a Libra 11th house, you know a lot of people. Fortunately, you know people on both sides. Unfortunately, you know people on both sides. So depending on how it is that you feel about that, you might potentially be stuck. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world. I don't think I need to talk about it. If you're living in 2025, it's very obvious. So given with the myriad of things that happen, how is it that you align yourself? This is something that, as someone with a different chart than you, I don't know how to tell you to walk through this, but I am very aware of what it is, which is, are you going to pick a side or are you going to stay neutral? You guys are people that more often than not will be neutral based on what it is that makes sense, especially as Pluto has been in Capricorn. A lot of it has been followed by that. But if you're someone that has an overwhelming amount of Scorpio, Virgo, Taurus, and Pisces, you'll notice that these kind of create an intersection here. And this is an intersection of actual caring, actually caring about what it is that people need, actually caring about the betterment of other human beings, but also being very curious about what really makes this world look like how it does. I like to overlay the chart of America into this by showing, America's whatever you want to think about it right now. I'm not going to get into that. It's trying so bad to avoid politics, but this is the chart of America. And in America, there are things that are currently happening. And one of them being looking at what it is that you side on politically, right? The benevolence of America compared to the secrets and the stuff that happens, how perfect it looks compared to the crazy shit that's actually going on, but also on the world stage, how it is that we connect and influence people. Because America has Pluto or Saturn, I think, in Libra, something like that. I don't remember. It was one of those, or Uranus. I don't know. So there is an aspect of power and wanting things to be consistent and the American dream and all that. And for you guys, because of Virgo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Pisces, it is really honing in on that decision. Do I side or do I decide to pick a side? I feel like it sounds like, oh, everyone has to do that. But no, I understand how trivial it is for you guys, right? In my personal opinion, especially since the ninth house and the third house are going to be lit, I think it's some time to brainstorm. More than anything else, brainstorm about it. Don't feel like you have to be so called to give your personal opinion just yet. I really feel like that's important. If you can, stay neutral for as long as you can, because that Uranus in Gemini is unknown. No matter what astrologer tells you, including me, we don't fucking know what this shit's gonna do. And more often than not, you'll see it referenced in history as war or other stuff. And I've even said that myself. And technology, engineering, new stuff, we don't know. We really don't. AI could take over and not align with us and we all die. Or, aliens could, be real and then whatever. Or Jesus comes back, some shit. But the unknown is what you're looking at. And that's why I said the unknown. We don't know. And so my personal point of view is just a hedge. That's all you can do. The unknown equals hedge. And so if you find a hedge, meaning the people that come in maybe not share fully what you are doing, fully what I'm not saying to just Scorpio out just yet, but like, be mindful. Someone that you could be smiling with today is someone that could hate you viscerally for not siding with them, right? For you guys, I think this kind of relates to the same thing about the Pisces risings, because as another Jupiterian person, they have Pluto in their 12th. So they're also cocooning, but they don't feel as called to be doing shit out in public like you might, unless they have a lot of Virgo. And that leads back to the point I'm trying to highlight, because it's a mutable thing that you're kind of experiencing mixed with uncovering what is real of the fixed signs. So I hope that illustrates what I'm trying to say. In a perfect world, you might get sponsored by someone you like. In this current world, it could be someone you detest, but it helps you do such an amazing change for the future and make you sit back and think, wow, I never thought I'd be here. I don't know. It is your life. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. I think I'll be doing elements together. So I've done Leo as my last video. And this is Sag. Maybe I'll do Aries next. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.